Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Talks with Tally. I have a feeling that's what I'm gonna name it. That is not an official name, but that's what I got for now, okay? But I might change it to something else. But again, this is just like maybe an outlet for some issues that are deep in my heart, or maybe not so deep, that I just want to discuss and put out there, and maybe even get some feedback on it. You know, sometimes if I don't want feedback, I'll let you guys know. But either way, I know y'all gonna comment regardless. So I'm just ready and prepared for whatever. Okay. So for today, I wanted to talk about like experiences in the workplace. Okay. I'm going to talk about the evolution of the type of worker I used to be to what kind of worker I became, and just my experiences, the issues I faced, and just everything workplace or having to do with work. Okay. So, I'm sure this may be relatable to a lot of people, and, yeah, so I just want to put this out there, guys. So initially when I first joined the workforce, first job, I believe I was like 17. That's probably late for some people and earlier for others. But I was like 17 and I got a little part-time job at Wendy's. Okay, yes, your girl used to work for Wendy's. So it was like probably like my last semester of high school type. And it allowed me to get a job and finally get my own iPhone. And, you know, I was feeling it for a minute, until like I felt like my boss kind of told me that, you know, people were passing me, people were going past me, you know, people who came to work before me, no, people who came work for the place after me are kind of like passing me in their skills. And that was good for, I didn't really care, because first of all, I lived at home with my mom, so I had no bills, number one. Number two, it's like, yo, it's Wendy's, okay? Like, y'all go into, if y'all good at doing fast food orders, this and that, y'all go ahead with that. And another thing is that I'm actually a very shy person. So in these kinds of environments, especially me being that age, I really needed somebody to be behind me and give me their support and give me their encouragement and really tell me what to do. I'm actually like that to this day. Maybe I might not need as much support as I did back then, but nowadays I still want somebody actually giving me specific direction on what to do. You know, if I don't have specific directions, I'm prone to like just chill and maybe do whatever, you know. But you know, I probably need somebody to invest in me. Okay, and that goes not only in the workplace, maybe like in, you know, in every area that I want to grow in my life, I probably want someone else there to invest in me, to hold me accountable. Like I said in past videos, accountability is needed for some more than others. I believe sometimes you probably have no choice but to be your own accountability. But for me, I think accountability is like a big thing for me, something that I really need. So that was that with Wendy's, and I used to get into it all the time. There was this manager who really didn't like me for no reason at all. I guess she didn't like the way I work, you know, and I just couldn't express myself to her really, because she spoke another language, and there was like a language barrier there. And then even when we went back and forth and we argued, like I didn't even know what she was saying, because again, she had a language barrier. So that was the way it is, and that was my experience. And then I just felt, you know, I was just not feeling it. And let me tell you how I quit. There's this one day, and this was like the last straw for me. At the end of my shift, my mom was outside waiting for me, and my register came up $30 short. And of course, eventually they found the $30. They called me the next day saying, oh, we found the $30. Are you going to come back to work? And this is when I already didn't even show up for my shift, because when that happened, I was crying and I was already done with the job. So I did not show up for my shift the next day. And they called me. They said, oh, we found the $30. Are you going to come back to work? I said, no, I'm just done. And then that's how it was over for Wendy's, okay? And then like moving forward, like I got a job when I got out of high school again at Olive Garden as a hostess. And I actually stayed there for like 4 years. At a time, I was also working at Staples in the copy and print center for about a year while I was working over there. And it was really some fun times, but it seems like anywhere I go, there's like at least one management person who I don't get along with. And there was this manager, and his name was Carlos, and he just really did not get along with me. I remember it like yesterday, like it was the 3rd month I was working over there, and then he just really just took a dislike to me, that he used to criticize everything I do. He used to like follow me around the restaurant to make sure I was doing whatever I was doing. And then, you know, in restaurants, sometimes you don't go home when at your time where it says for you to go home. You go home when they tell you to go home. So like if it's slow, they say, okay, you could go home. So this man, he would not let me get no hours, no matter what time I came in. Like if you opening and you came early, you're supposed to leave earlier than the person who comes after you. Sometimes I used to switch shifts with the girl that left before me. I switched shifts with the girl who was coming after me. So she came before me so she could go first, and I came after her so I could go first. And this man used to still try to cut me first, until I had to confront him one day and be like, no, like I came after her. She goes first, not me. And then he was trying to make it seem like that's not what it was. Like, oh, not necessarily. I said, no. But when Jesse comes after me, you try to cut. When Jesse comes after me, you cut me first. Either way, he just always wanted to cut me first. Always coming after me, always criticizing me, always finding some reason to be on me, bro. And I used to cry, and I used to be like, yo, I don't even understand. Why is this guy on me so much? Like, I am no different than anybody else in here. And the thing is, with the girls, other girls, he used to be so friendly with them, and even like to the point of being flirtatious with them. You understand? Like, that's how I used to be with him and other girls. But with me, he was not playing around with me. He like disliked me, and it really made me feel like a certain type of way. It made me feel insecure. It made me feel like I, wasn't good enough. I really took that personally. And, and it was happening maybe for like 2 years straight. And then I had to eventually tell the general manager, like, please, like, tell him to leave me alone. And then he started like kind of leaving me alone. And then we kind of like didn't talk. And then eventually he started being like, hey, what's up? And we became cool, bro. But I'm telling you, those years of him not liking me was traumatizing, because obviously he's a person in position of power over me. So he definitely was a power trip, and he used his power against me, and he just made it like not a fun time. Okay, so that was my experience there. And then I tried to, at Staples, the copy and print center was a really great job for me. I've just had most of the authority on my own. When I came, my boss left, she showed me what to do. I always got it completed, because even though I do like direction, but when there are clear, without someone there to tell me what to do, if there's still a clear task that needs to get done, I'm all about getting it done. Okay, and that's what I was all about. That's what I am about still to this day, getting a task done, and I get it done real fast. Okay, so that's that. If I want anybody to remember me about anything, it's about Tally gets the job done, and she gets it done fast. Thank you. So that's that. And then I was working at Olive Garden for a while. I really wanted to find another job, because it was like 4 years of me working there, and I feel like, okay, what am I doing? I've worked here since I was 18. Now I'm like 22. Like, am I going to spend the rest of my life here? Like, what am I supposed to do? Yes, I worked my way up to server and bartender. Mind you, people were discouraging me and discouraging management from promoting me, saying that I wouldn't be able to do it. And turns out I was really good, better than most people. Okay, I was a really good server, So in my life, I would also have to say that I have been the underdog. People do count me out and think I'm the underdog. And even looking at myself in this camera right now, I'm like, why do people do me like that? Don't I look like a capable person? But I guess not. To a lot of people, I guess I don't look as capable as I really am. That's your fault, boo, because I am really capable. I'm more capable than you will ever think I am. So I worked my way up there, but I still wanted to do something else. I wanted to join this cruise for like 2 weeks. And mind you, these people, I didn't know how crucial it was, but we slept in dorms, basically a dorm room with a whole bunch of girls. Me, I'm a clean person. The dorm was not clean enough for me. It was really messy. You work 14, 16 hours a day, get a few hours of sleep, and you wake up and you have to work every day. We have no days off. Work 14, 16 hours every day. Maybe get a break if you finish early enough. And it was pure slavery to me. So I only made it to like 2 weeks of that. Okay, and I'm like, oh, hell no. And I did something for them to like send me home, because I was like, no, send me home. I'm like, no, send me home. I cannot do this. Okay, so they eventually sent me home. All right, and then like I feel like I stayed a month without working just to get like a breather. Look at me, a breather. Okay, and then what happened was I said, okay, let me go back to work. So I went back to work at Olive Garden for like a month, and then I had to put in my 2 weeks, because I'm like, you know what, let me find another job. So I got this little office job at this construction place, and I was like in the accounting, like the accounting assistant type. And what happened is I really loved working there. You know, it was a salary, it was a fixed salary that was good. They gave us so many bonuses, not only money, but we were general contractors, so the subcontractors that worked for us used to give us all kinds of gifts during the holidays, because I worked there during like during the holidays, and we got all kind of cool gifts. One of my gifts, they gave us all of us a $200 gift card to Ruth Chris. You know what I'm saying? Inside a Yeti. So that was like serious, you know, and we, among other gifts. And this place, the thing I did wrong at this place is, I feel like I just didn't know how to fake work. Because a lot of these office jobs, like if you get work done fast, which I always do, I always like to get work done fast, you have nothing else to do. And the thing about me is I didn't know how to fake work. You know, I didn't know how to make it look like I was doing something that I was really not doing, you know? So because of that, I feel like, you know, they feel like I wasn't really doing nothing much. So they had to end up letting me go. They gave me my severance pay. They let me go. It is what it is. I was good to go. Obviously, I'm someone who always believes in Jesus, always believe in God. So I just feel like, you know, I'm always going to be taken care of. God always got me, period, on period. And in the past, I feel like I didn't understand what it meant to be a Christian and be a worker as well, because there are some Christian stipulations that go into that, as in this, like, when you're working for people, you work as if you're working onto the Lord. You don't work for nobody. You're not going to worry about your pay. Okay, if they choose to fire you, you're going to trust in the Lord. If they messing with you, you trust in the Lord. And then you work as if you were working onto the Lord. You don't get them back for anything. You don't, you know what I'm saying? You don't try to get them back for any little thing that they try to do. If they trying to mess with you, pray for them. It's going to work out for you no matter what, you know? And that's how it's always been for me. And I'm not telling you this because this is just what, you know, how God would want it, how the word said. I'm telling you this because I've actually experienced it this way, that no matter what they try to do to me, it always works out for my good. So go ahead and do whatever you need to do. Try to mess with me in any kind of way just because you don't like me, just because you have some personal issues. It is what it is. God got me. I don't need any job. It's God who's my supplier. It's God who financially supports me. He is my provider no matter what. But still, I give them the respect that I owe them, the respect that's due. I put on a good attitude, a smile on my face, all of that. That's what you're supposed to do, you know? So when we look at your part, you know, I try to show up on time as much, all the time. I try to show up on time, you know, and you know, I just be that good worker, you know, so they could see that, you know, this girl right here, she, you know, she has the standard. She has that godly standard about her. So that's what I try to do, you know. So when God looks down on my part of the situation, he knows that I did the best that I can to the best of my ability, period. So God's always got me. So they let me go from the construction job. I had went to, I don't know where I went to. I started working for this, maybe I worked for like a drug rehab for like a week, but I was like, oh no, because they let the work back up too much. They let the work back up, and then there was so much backed up work that they wanted me to do. I was like, oh, that's too much. And then I went back to serving, and I started serving at this restaurant, Maggiano's. It's a good restaurant to serve at, but that head boss, he was I I'm trying to find a good term for that. He was disrespectful. Okay, he was disrespectful. He cursed at people a lot. He was mean. He was very mean, but he also had a good heart to him, you know. And this is where I learned at this place serving. This is where I learned that some of the attitudes and reactions and responses that I grew up, you know, exhibiting, I couldn't take that to work with me. And that's what I did. It was a very growing up moment for me, because I had to, at that point, I had to learn and I had to grow up and I had to realize that, you know, I can't have the same attitude in the workplace that I have at home if somebody was to do something to me at home, or the same attitude that I would have with a friend. You understand? I don't know if you guys understand that. But that's what really made me realize that when I work, I really got to work unto the Lord, and I have to have a good attitude, and I have to be a grown-up. Okay, that's what it taught me, because the way I got fired, you know, they gave me a few chances. Like, I used to have these attitudes, these tantrums. I used to have these tantrums, and this is not the only place I used to have tantrums. I grew up throwing tantrums, okay? So I never really learned how to control my emotions in that way. So I had a couple tantrums, and they said, you know, one day you're going to throw a tantrum, and we're going to let you go. You feel me? And then one day I threw a big tantrum. And listen, guys, I'm not saying that these tantrums I threw weren't for a good reason, okay? There was good reason. There's good reasoning behind the tantrums for someone to be irritated. But the way I handle it, it's all about the way you handle it. And at that point, I can admit now that I didn't understand how to be a grown-up. I didn't understand. I was maybe, sorry guys, somebody calling. I was maybe like 23, okay? I did not understand at that point how to be a grown-up and how to, like, I don't know what's the word, how to how to communicate my issues in a grown-up fashion. That's basically what it is. So I used to just throw things, like, you know, as a server, you got to refill the ice. I used to like, okay, because we're not supposed to refill the ice. It's the busser who's supposed to be refill the ice. So imagine if you're so busy and you got to refill the ice. I was like throwing that ice. I remember that one time, even right in front of my boss, bro, I was slamming the ice into the ice bucket because I was so angry that I had to refill it when I was so busy. And I did that right in front of him. And that was the big boss too. The boss that I told you that was me. So that means I ain't have no respect at that point. And I was just dumping that ice quick. And then he was like, what you doing? Okay? What you doing? Like, he said, you wanna be out of here? You wanna be like, he like literally like kind of like embarrassed me in front of everybody. But at the same time, I like deserved it. You feel me? I definitely deserved it, because the way I was acting, like this is my home, and I cannot give the same attitude at home and do those things at the workplace. And even that day when he ended up firing me, he didn't end up firing me. The assistant manager actually ended up firing me because the attitude I was giving him that night. And he was like having me, I was in the office yelling and I was explaining myself. He said, that's okay, because we're letting you go. And I'm like, why you in the office let me go off in this if you was gonna let me go anyway? And then they had escorted me out that night, everything, bro. And then he said, you could come talk to Anique tomorrow. So I come and I talk to Anique, and I'm like crying, like those like healthy tears, like those like deep tears, like, and then he was like, you know what, I can't hire you back because what do I look like going over my manager? I told you about this attitude. I told you. He said, didn't I tell you that this was gonna get you in trouble one day? I told you. And he said, has your dad or your mother told you about this attitude? And I was like, yeah. They told me about this attitude. A lot of people actually along my lifetime have told me about the attitude that I have, and I never decided to fix it. And that was a turning point for me that let me know, that made me understand, like, I have an attitude problem that I can't, that first of all, I need to fix it. And number two, I need to learn how to react in situations of pressure. I can't get flustered. I can't result to emotional violence, because that's what it is, emotional violence, and just throwing my attitude, throwing myself all over the place, making people feel some type of way. That's not going to fly in certain environments. And I feel like environments that God has designated me to go into, that kind of behavior is not going to work. And I feel like God used that to show me that. So that was a point of growth for me when I got fired from that job. And then I got hired at another restaurant called J. Alexander's, and I ended up getting fired from there too. I feel like one day I'm gonna look back at this when I'm successful and understand and see my journey. I'm like, you know what? I thank God for everything that happened. Even right now, I'm thanking God for everything that happened. But J. Alexander's, I was doing well over there, except like customers just kept complaining on me for like almost no reason sometimes. And it's like, sometimes it's like, maybe there's like something about me that I'm not aware of, that I need to be aware of, that, you know, people are picking up on, and it's just making them like dislike me. And I believe there is something like that. So that's really what it was. They were complaining on me like that. And then there's this one time that I made a bad decision in my personal life. And the thing about me is, in order for my life to be on track, I need to make good decisions in every aspect of my life. There's no, you know, this going well, this is not. If I'm not doing well, I'm sorry if this stops, it's like low battery or something. If I'm not doing well in my personal life, everything is gonna suffer. If my relationship with God is, you know, not right, if I'm like in willful sin of any type, if I'm just not doing well, other areas, including work especially, is gonna suffer. So I made a bad personal decision to do something I shouldn't have. It affected me emotionally. That's really what it is. When something affects me that hard emotionally, my job performance deteriorates. And that's what happened. And I end up getting fired from J. Alexander's because I literally got 3 complaints from tables in like a week. You know, they literally called even after and complained about me. So that was like crazy for me. I'm like, oh my God, you know, but I emotionally already checked out. So it was like, so, you know, there's nothing I could do. I emotionally checked out. I was in pain. I was hurt. My heart was broken. So that's literally what led to me getting fired from there. And literally after that, I lost my apartment. But you know what? You know what the saving grace about that whole situation was? COVID hit. So I would have got the hit anyway. Maybe I wouldn't have got fired so soon, but COVID hit. I got fired in November. COVID hit like restaurants really in March. So maybe 4 months later, 5 months later, I would have got the hit. And I would have already been out of the apartment, had to be out of the apartment anyway, because I got out of the apartment last day of February. So COVID hit, sorry guys, COVID hit in like March, where it shut down restaurants, I believe. So I would have got shut down anyway. It would have been a serious situation anyway. You know, oh, my light just went out. I don't know what happened there. Oh, okay. So bear with me, guys. No editing. No editing. I just gotta make it do what it do. Okay, so now we're back. Now we're back. Hold on, how I get this light popping. I'm so glad this video did not stop, even with everything that's happening. I don't know what happened. But yes, guys. So that was that. And then now I'm working for a company. I'm not gonna tell you what company it is. And I'm working in an office. I'm on a salary. And right now, I'm even having issues in my office, which led to me making this video. Now, there are a couple situations that instead of speaking on it, I just kept it to myself. I didn't really want to say anything about it. So it made me build inner resentment. So I was coming off, you know, a little bit attitude-ish. I ain't gonna lie, you know, like I'm working on it and it is getting better, but it's still like there. But obviously it's something I really want to work on for the best. But in this office environment, I am learning how to speak up for myself, but also do it in a respectful manner, which is great, which is a great thing for me to learn. And, you know, there's pros and there's cons, because you need to know how to speak up for yourself, but you have to learn how to do it respectfully. And you need to, there's battles you should fight, there's battles you shouldn't fight. And you have to do your best at the job, working as if you're working onto the Lord. Working as if you're working onto the Lord, but at the same time, understanding that the Lord is your provider. And you shouldn't just take everything laying down. And that's what I'm basically learning now, because they want to change. I've been there 7 months already. They trying to change my schedule, saying like I'm not guaranteed. I want to work mornings. They're trying to put me on, you know, later at night. And they're trying to, I usually have like Sunday, Mondays off. They're talking about, oh, I'm not guaranteed those days off. I'm like, listen, church on Sunday, school on Monday. I don't know what y'all gonna do if y'all schedule me on those days, because I'm not coming, you know. And that's what I really want to say to them. And she decided to text me, so that's why that's the only reason I was texting her back. But I feel like those conversations shouldn't be had in a text anyway. And my friend who I was with, he was like, you know, you don't need to respond to everything in the text. You shouldn't be going back and forth in the text anyway. So and he said, sometimes you got to just say okay and do what you need to do. You don't need to let people know what you finna do, but you just need to say okay, and do what you got to do. And I felt that on a different level, because I was letting her know, listen, if this don't work out for me, then I'm gonna let you know. And you know, I'm just not gonna be able to work for you anymore. And I wanted to say that, and I don't need to say that. All I need to say is, okay, fine. You feel like you're gonna change my schedule anyway, which way? Okay, fine. But guess what? I'm gonna be working on myself, and in 2 weeks, okay, and then if you ever feel like you're gonna change my schedule in a way, I'm gonna start searching for jobs, and I'm gonna put my 2 weeks notice in. It is what it is. And it's like, I like working here. I enjoy working here, you know. But however, if you're going to take me for granted and feel like you could play with my schedule, I can't do that, because I base my schedule off how my schedule has been. And I have a lot going on outside of work. A lot. I have another job. I have church. I'm highly involved in my church. I want to go to the gym and get healthy. There's a lot of things I do outside of work to contribute to myself, to invest in myself, you know, that I'm not saying it's not more important than work, but I put work in its place. I put work in its proper position, and that's mornings from 7 to 3:30. Okay, that's the proper position. I plan for it. I go to sleep on time for it. I wake up on time for it. I get there on time for it, and I leave on time for it. Okay, let's say that I leave on time for it. Trust me, because the time that I leave, the more on time that I leave, which I try to leave on time every day, which I do, okay, it puts me in a better position mentally to come back tomorrow. Let's say that, okay? So yes, I've learned I need to be more respectful on the workplace. Yes, I learned that I need to learn how to communicate the issues I'm having in a more adult-like manner. I need to be more tolerant. I need to not be so hot-headed and get to being mad all the time. No, that doesn't work for me, because it eventually gets used against me, and the people in the positions of power over me, they get tired of it, and they're gonna want to fire my behind. So I can't try to get things by acting out in emotional violence. That's a tactic I used to use when I was growing up in my household. I have to be an adult about the situation and be able to discuss it and agree to disagree, period. But at the same time, I need to have boundaries as well. And boundaries is something everyone needs to have in their own life. So at the same time, I need to have boundaries. Like, I'm sorry, these days I can't work, these hours I can't work, because I schedule my life that best fits me. They're gonna schedule their schedule that best fits their company. However, myself, I have to schedule my life that best fits for me. So we agreed on a schedule. I've had this schedule for the past 7 months of me working here. So my schedule is set up to benefit me. And I did did schedule things around this schedule to benefit me. And now the fact that you want to change it, I feel like you're moving into a zone for me that's non-negotiable. So when that happens, I have to reconsider what's best for me. You know, understand? Keeping in mind that God is my provider, but keeping in mind that I also have to be respectful, you know, I have to make the best decisions and moves for me. So if you're no longer in my best interest, I have to find another job. Okay. And another thing I realized, which is another construct in society that kind of keeps people in a stuck and downridden state, is the fact that, oh, they tell you that you don't want to be hopping from jobs to jobs because that looks bad on your resume. Excuse me. In life we have so many options as there is. You understand me? So if one thing is not working for you, you got to move it and shake it to see what else can work better for you. Okay. So if this job is not working out anymore, we shouldn't be afraid to go and find another job, especially if you have the mind state that you should be making more money. I just got a raise over at that place, okay? And I got a raise to where I should have been in the first place because they didn't want to give me what I was worth in the first place. So now I just got that raise 6 months later, okay? In my mind, I should be making more money, period. I should be making more money. I deserve to make more money. And this is different for everybody because it depends on how you value yourself and how you see your self-worth. Okay, I should be making more money than I make at this job. And I believe that I can make more money than I make at this job. I believe that opportunity is coming to me. I'm just speaking it into existence as I speak to you guys. So with that being said, if this job wants to play with me, no, I shouldn't say it like that. But if they want to disrupt the flow of my life, if they want to impede on what's best for me, you know, if they want to try to, like, you know, just change it up on me, like they're trying to change it up on me, I have no problem saying my prayer, going out and snagging that new job that pays me more money and dropping off my 2 weeks, because I gotta do what it do. I gotta make it shake. Okay, I'm a woman of God. Okay, I believe that greater things are, God is holding greater things for my future. I believe that my future is bright. I believe that I will achieve financial freedom in my life. You know, I feel like I will retire my parents. I feel like I will be the source. You know, I'm meant to be the source. So with that being said, and I've always felt this way. Ever since I was a child, I felt this way. So with that being said, I will not settle. And you should not either. I will not settle for any kind of treatment, people talking to me any kind of way, and people feeling like they could just, you know, switch it up on me, you know, say I have to work then when those are not the hours I want to work. Those are not the hours I gave you that I'm going to work. Like, I'm not going to take any of that, and neither should you. However, I'm going to do it and go about it in a respectful manner, in a manner they can understand that, yes, I'm a Christian, but don't ever try to take advantage of me, ever. So that's what I wanted to get out. I don't know where this is all coming from, but this is where I wanted to get out. I wanted to tell you guys how this started and how it's going. So I always pray that God improves my work ethic. And I've always prayed, not always prayed for that. I recently started praying for that. And God has done, you know, very good in my work ethic. Okay, like, I'm about being on time now. I still work and complete tasks fast. Like, my work ethic, like, I just pray that it even gets even better, because that's all I need, you know. So that's what it is for that, you know. And I just want to encourage somebody to never accept less than you deserve, but also always be respectful. Always work as if you're working onto the Lord in your work environment, you know. And you know, always portray yourself as that Christian. You don't have to tell people you're a Christian, but by your actions they're gonna know that you're a Christian. And I haven't always been great at, you know, demonstrating that, but I pray that it gets even better. And just spread love. Spread love. Spread the love of God. Know that you deserve better. and there's better for you in life. And don't be afraid to turn in your card for something better. Turn it in for something better. Trust God. He's the provider. Amen. Thank you, guys.